Hello and welcome. I'm Renee Quintanilla. I'm the Associate Director and Internship Advisor at the Career Resource Center at the Crummer Graduate School of Business. Welcome to Rollins. Today I'll be walking you through a presentation focused on the internship requirement for the EA MBA program. So let's go ahead and get started. Some of the things we'll be talking about today. One is the value of the internships and why they're important. We'll discuss some of the companies who hire our students and the relationships we have with them over the years. We'll be talking about resources that you can leverage for your search, not only for your internship search, but for your job search. We'll talk about the actual internship requirements themselves. We'll touch on a couple of items specific to our international students. We'll talk through some different scenarios that have happened over the course of the years. We'll talk about some of the required forms that will need to be submitted for academic credit. We'll talk about expectations for the internship, as well as we'll wrap up with an internship questionnaire and how to access that. So let's go ahead and get started. And really the value of internships. There's a lot of reasons why you would want to do an internship. First and foremost, it really is about building your resume. As a college student, you have just so much experience, or even if you are an experienced professional and you're looking to maybe make a transition into another functional area or another industry, internships are a great way to try to make those transitions. So in addition to building your resume, you're also gaining, obviously, that experience. And internships are also a way to determine if you like a company, like marketing, like finance, like a particular industry. It's that sort of try before you buy sort of experience where you're not fully committed. I mean, you're fully committed, but you're not in a full-time opportunity. But because these are not like a full-time opportunity, you have a chance to really kind of dabble and gain some different experiences and determine if this is really what you want to do. And the other piece is, again, making sure that everything is a fit, that you fit within a company, you fit within a culture, the position is a right fit, and again, the internships are a great way to determine those items. The companies who hire, we have enjoyed many relationships with a lot of the companies on these slides and the companies that are not listed on this slide. But we wanted to show you a variety of different companies, large, small, different industries, in terms of where our students have landed over the years, have landed their internships. We've enjoyed long-term relationships with companies like PCE Investment Banking here in Winter Park, Siemens Energy, which is down by UCF, Vistana Signature Experiences. Students have been working with them in their finance department. A company like Net Conversion, who is one of the co-founders, is a Crummer alum. A lot of their internships are really focused on converting those internships into full-time hires. And Net Conversion is a digital marketing agency. And then there's obviously, we have partners like Habitat for Humanity, Clean the World, as well, United Arts, where some of our students have landed. And then some of the big players like Universal Orlando as well. So as you start to conduct your search and you start to think about strategy in terms of what companies you want to start to target and what functional areas you think you want to get experience in, we really want to kind of draw your attention to a variety of different resources that you can leverage as part of your strategic search. I'll start off with just general networking. That is going to be very, very important. Tapping into your own personal network, maybe your professional network, building relationships with not just Jane, Shirley, and myself here at in the Career Resource Center at Crummer, but all faculty, all staff members, The more we get to know you, the more we can help you, and the more we can help you connect to people who you want to be connected with, and who can help you through this career journey that you're on while you're here at Crummer. Some of the other online resources that we have are one called the Book of Lists, which comes from an industry journal, and they are designed for specific cities around the United States. So they basically rank companies by industry, and so if you are looking to maybe do an internship or look for a job in a city like Dallas, you can go to the Book of Lists, look up the Dallas Book of Lists, and see what top-ranked companies for specific industries are there. So if you're just trying to do some preliminary research about what companies are where, the Book of Lists is a great tool to leverage. LinkedIn, beyond that is really where the recruiters are. You want to make sure you have a very robust profile so you are easily searchable by recruiters, but also LinkedIn has a very robust job portal, so I highly recommend you search jobs through LinkedIn, in addition to trying to connect with people at specific companies via LinkedIn as well. The other resources that I have up on the slides, Vault, Going Global, and Beyond B-School, are all different in their own ways, but they all have, the one thing they have in common is they all have a job board system. So make sure you're checking those out. But if you are a student who is interested in international opportunities, definitely recommend looking at Going Global. But there is also city guides in Going Global. So even if you're not looking at international opportunities, but national opportunities, definitely take a look at Going Global. Our international students, if you want to look up H-1B information, they've got a pretty robust system in there for H-1B for any students that have questions regarding H-1B visas. The Vault is basically an industry guide, again, very robust. So if you're looking at learning more about the careers in consulting or finance, the Vault is a tremendous guide, and highly recommend that you all become familiar with that resource. And Beyond B-School has a variety of different tools and resources in it, specifically targeted to MBAs. And this is actually a new resource that we've recently added to the Handshake platform, so definitely check that out. So let's talk about some of the requirements for the internship component. Again, as we mentioned, it is a requirement which is tied to the Career Strategies course. It's a minimum of 240 hours of MBA level work. What we don't want our students doing is purely administrative work. We want you out there working with employers, whether that's as a financial analyst, doing market research, doing data analytics, project management, those sorts of functional areas, or perhaps even operations. One thing to keep in mind before starting any internship, the internship must be approved before starting. And that internship approval happens through myself. So keep in mind, if you do get into an internship and you set a start date and you start working, but the internship hasn't been approved through our office, just know that those hours will not count towards the 240-hour requirement. It will actually, the hours will start once the internship is approved. I will walk you through the required forms on Handshake. Whether you are in the August cohort or fall cohort, I should say the January cohort, you've got different times where you want to target your internship. Anyone starting in August, you want to target the summertime. You have full-time availability. You've got more time to spend with the employer. That is really kind of the ideal time. For students who start in January, we encourage you to get through your first year and target your internship for the fall. That will be the best and probably most ideal time for our January students. Just keep in mind the internship must be secured no later than December 31st of your second year. And we've kind of put this target date, we put this date out there for students because what we don't want to happen is students waiting till the last semester of their experience to get their internship done. That last semester, you should be really working towards your job search and really focusing on landing that job, not worrying about fulfilling an internship requirement. So keep that date in mind as well. For our international students, there's basically two forms of approval. As I just talked about, the internship description does need to be approved by me for the Career Strategies course. You also need to get internship approval for work authorization through the Office of International Students and Scholarly Services. So please see Elisa Rodriguez and make sure you understand which documents need to be completed for them. If you are in an internship and your employer would like to extend you for another semester, do know that new forms need to be completed for work authorization, not for us on the career strategy side, but for your work authorization. So again, make sure you're keeping in contact with Elisa on that. Some different scenarios that have kind of come up over the years. We do approve students to work in virtual and commercial office space. Again, that's really how work is getting done these days. A lot of people are working from home or working from Starbucks or what have you, and we are okay with that. If you are in a virtual internship or some part of your internship is virtual, we just want to make sure that you're connecting with your manager weekly and making sure that those connections are happening and you all are communicating. For those students who potentially work for an entrepreneur who does not have commercial office space or work in a co-working space, please know the college prohibits students working in private residences or home offices, so please keep that in mind. If you find out that an employer, that is their office space, please come see me and we can have a conversation around that. If you are interested in interning out of state or internationally, again, also those opportunities are encouraged. Still need to get the internship description and make sure that the internship is approved. We've had students in the past who have completed 2 120-hour internships, which is perfectly fine. Anything beyond 2 internships will not be approved. At that point, it's really not effective for you or the employer. We want to make sure that the time that you're spending with the employers is meaningful and relevant and quality. And I think we've been able to achieve that by potentially splitting the hours between 2 internships, if that is the case. But again, those have been very specific scenarios when that has happened. If you have an individual situation you just want to talk about, come talk to me. Drop me a note. I'm happy to talk to you about your particular situation and discuss any particular solutions to that. So at this point, I'd actually like to move you into the handshake tool and show you where to access the handshake forms and where to submit them. So I am going to share my screen and take you into Handshake. So bear with me. Okay, so we are actually on my profile page as a student. And before we do anything, here's what I want to make sure I outline for you. And this is also in the slide that I just left. In order to get to the forms for the internship, you have to make sure your profile is set up correctly. And there's very specific ways you need to set up your education profile. You need to have Rollins College, select Masters, make sure you have the Crummer Graduate School of Business as the college, and make sure your major is Business Administration. If this is all in place, you should be able to access the internship forms. And to do that, you're going to go to the Career Center, you're going to go to Planning, You're going to click on the tile that says Career Strategies EMBA Internship Documents, and here you are. Here are all the internship forms. The internship description, commitment to learning, 5 learning objectives, and informed consent are due at the start of the internship. The student evaluation and employer evaluations are due before you complete the internship. We've already talked about the internship description, but if you need an example of one, there is a link to some different position descriptions. Here is what the commitment to learning form looks like, and there's information about that particular document. Make sure this is completely filled out. Make sure you understand as a student what you're committing to, you sign, and your supervisor signs. The 5 learning objectives, again, more information I encourage you to read here in the drop-down. Click to access the document. Here you want to state and work with your manager to identify what are the 5 things you want to work on during the course of the internship. What are the objectives? State how you're going to achieve them and what your target date of completion is. And then obviously print and sign the bottom. And then what you will end up doing is going back to these learning objectives as you fill out your student evaluation. And I'll talk about that more here in just a moment. The informed consent agreement is actually accessed here. This is an online document which is basically a hold harmless agreement. You just need to fill out the required information and hit submit. And this can be done once the internship is approved. You can go ahead and fill this document out. And then going back to the student evaluation. So this is what the form looks like. And obviously there's more to it, but this is what the landing page looks like. And I want to go back to this drop down, and I really encourage you to read these instructions because this really explains what is going to be accepted when you submit the student evaluation. And I've provided you with a couple of examples. Here is an example of a student evaluation in which they received credit for it. They stated what the objective was, and they showed me in detail what they did to achieve that objective. What were examples of their work? What were some of their key learning points, and so on. But this is really where you have an opportunity to reflect on each learning objective as well as your overall experience and tell me about that. One-liners will not be accepted. If you submit a brief evaluation such as this one, it will be returned to you and I will be asking for more information. So please keep that in mind. So again, just wanted to highlight that information. In terms of the employer evaluation, here is the link for the employer to access the online form. Please email that to your manager to have them complete. And again, both those evaluations should be done before you complete the internship. So I'm now going to go back to my profile, and I'm going to show you how to upload the internship description, the commitment to learning, and the learning objectives. You're going to scroll down to Manage Documents. You're going to click on Add a New Document. You're going to scan and upload those forms, put the document name, internship description, click Other Document, and then hit Add Document. You'll do the same for the commitment to learning, and you're going to do the same for the learning objectives. So hopefully that makes sense. And as I mentioned, I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. I apologize. And everything I just talked through is on this slide. So if you need to go back, you need a refresher on anything, it's all on this slide. Finally, just expectations. Make sure that you're balancing your time, your employer's time, your team's time. You're balancing everything, and you don't have too much falling off the plate. There's a lot of commitments. We want to make sure that you're getting a good experience academically and with the internship. You want to make sure you're meeting expectations, certainly with your team. So we really want you to be cognizant of time and how you're using it and not overstretching yourself. Communication, make sure, please, you're in communication with me as your internship advisor. If things are going great or not so good, you want to talk about maybe a particular situation as it relates to your internship. You're not sure how to handle a conversation with your leader. Please talk to me. We can talk through what those conversations can look like and how they can be positioned. Again, performing your role to expectations. Make sure from the get-go, as you're meeting with the leader who you're going to be working for, you understand what their expectations are in that role, in that internship, so that there's no surprises, halfway through the experience. And then finally, of course, just keeping in mind, your professional conduct. You're representing yourself, Rollins, Crummer, and our students have really maintained a very positive reputation in the community. And we want to obviously continue that. And we want you all to make sure that, you're, again, representing yourselves well. And just to kind of keep that professional conduct in mind also. As I mentioned, there is a brief questionnaire regarding these requirements. We just want to make sure we're checking your understanding of the information that was provided for you today. So please go to Blackboard to receive the instructions on how to access it. And finally, here's my name and, again, contact information. If you have any questions regarding the internship requirements, the internship descriptions, anything, I'm happy to answer those questions for you, or if you just have questions in general, please feel free to reach out. I want to thank you all for your time today and for engaging with me through this presentation, and I welcome you to Crummer, and I look forward to working with you soon. Thank you.